Hey guys, today I have the brand new 2025 Tesla Model 3 Performance. This is the Chinese market variant, so it's down in power by about 40 or 30 something horsepower compared to any other Tesla Model 3 Performance you could find in other markets. But in just a bit, we'll test out to see how this one feels right off the line. Now I doubt that this decrease of 40 power or this detune of 40 horsepower is that noticeable when you are putting your foot down all the way. Now, everything else in this Model 3 Performance feels just like any other Tesla Model 3. And of course, the adaptive dampers, it's the same globally. When going through some bumpy roads, rougher surface, you do feel every bump. Now, in the settings, because this is a Chinese Tesla, so it has two of the stopping modes. Back in the days, I think in 2021 or 2022, all Teslas globally had three different stopping modes. So you could choose to have a true one pedal drive, which means that the car won't creep forward and it can just bring the car to a complete stop using fully regenerative braking when you're letting off the gas pedal, or you can have creeping enabled, which I'll show you right here. Yeah, the car won't come to a complete stop. You have to put your foot on the brake. I think that this is probably the safest setting to have, especially for people that are new to Teslas. Now that's a pre-Juniper Tesla Model Y. In their infotainment setting, they're probably seeing the three stopping modes. Now, being a performance model, you can adjust different steering wheel ratio. You can have it on light, standard, or heavy. Same can be said for acceleration. You have comfort, standard, and insane. Now that we're just cruising in city traffic speed, even when you're in chill acceleration, when you put your foot down, it still picks up. Now that's probably just a fraction of the performance true power. We'll get a chance to try out those other two acceleration settings in just a bit. Everything else you're seeing on the interior and exterior is the same, except one other thing, that this car is sitting on, I think, 19-inch performance rims. It's slightly smaller than the one you find in North American market. Now let's change back into standard acceleration. Now, the gas pedal feels just a bit lighter compared to the one in Comfort because you are now easier to put your foot down. And of course, people here are taking curves, taking entrance ramps very slowly. It's a very good safety measure. It just probably will have to wait just a bit to test out the acceleration. Now that we're on a straighter road, let's see how this one accelerates from standard acceleration mode. Yeah, it picks up. It's still a Model 3 Performance. I don't think I felt the 40 horsepower difference compared to the regular Tesla Model 3 Performance. Now when you're cruising at traffic speed, the cabin is extremely quiet. As of mid-2025, this Model 3 is still not having the turn signal stock, but I've seen people online posting photos and videos of newer Tesla Model 3 Highlands being manufactured in the Giga Shanghai factory are now equipped with a standard turn signal stock. I'm not quite sure if that's good, if that's something that everyone wants, but me personally, I've driven many Teslas. If you haven't seen my Tesla Cybertruck video, make sure you check it out in my YouTube channel. Then I'm pretty much used to this one press of a button turn signal. I think it's quite nice, except that in certain conditions, like if you're maneuvering in a parking lot, it could be kind of tricky. Or if you're driving in and out of a runabout, then yes, when your wheel is cranked like that, it's hard to blink left or right. Now, on the same stretch of road, I did test drive the 2023 Mercedes-AMG EQE 53 sedan. So that one was very fast off the line. Now I'm wondering if this one can compete in the same level, knowing that it's down on power by about 40 horsepower. But still, the Model 3 is probably one of the lightest EV, sporty EV you could find. Because everything else from other manufacturers are really heavy. Their cars, because they have different battery technologies, you do feel the weight. If it's rear-wheel drive, yes, you feel that. If it's all-wheel drive, then it might struggle for traction just a bit. But in my previous experience with Tesla Performance, I don't think it will struggle getting off the line. Now that this being a demo vehicle, it does have full self-driving. As far as I know, that is not a standard feature if you order a Tesla in China now. Even if you pay for the full self-driving package, it might not be available due to legal regulations. So we'll see. We'll do a full self-driving test once we get the chance on probably different Tesla models once that's widely rolling out to all customers in the market. But I think that, yes, I do understand the traffic condition in China is quite different and it's quite challenging for any full self-driving system. Not just Teslas, even for the XPeng, the Huawei, the NIO systems. And I understand that there are probably much better systems in terms of having assistant driving package. But yeah, the Tesla is still, at its least, it can do adaptive cruise control with lane centering. Now I do find that this is probably because many people have driven this car, this specific tester. Now some of the buttons here are not as responsive as they should be right off the factory, but that is to be expected. It's a tester and it's a Model 3 Performance, so people getting this car, they're gonna beat the crap out of it. And I didn't check on the tire tread, but I think that I think it's sitting on, I think Pirelli P0s. I'm not quite sure. I think that's the one we'll have to check later once I get out of this car. Still, I don't have Dragy with me for the test here, but I don't think that's necessary because many people have driven the Tesla Model 3s and have timed it 0 to 60 or even do up to 160 kilometers, so 100 miles or quarter miles. So I think we're quite familiar with the Tesla Performance. Everything is still the same as a traditional Model 3. You have, of course, the performance model shown here, even with minor adjustments, including the slightly smaller size rim and different style rim. Everything else is the same as other Model 3 Performance in other markets. You have front heated and ventilated seats, full self-driving, lock and unlock, interior ambient lighting, dynamic ride control, 2 different stopping modes. You can have true one pedal drive. You can have regenerative braking on standard versus low. You have an unstuck traction mode. 3 different weights of your steering wheel, light, standard, heavy. Drive and handling, standard and sport. I'm gonna quickly walk you around it. Check out this beautiful, amazing 19-inch Chinese market only rims on this Model 3 Performance. And of course, the exterior looks just like any other Model 3 Performance. These performance seats with the performance badge feels very nice. It also has the Tesla premium speakers. Back seat, not very different. If I just hop in the back seat without knowing what model this one is, I probably think it's still a traditional Model 3. Trunk will be exactly the same as well. Now on the badge, of course, you have the performance badge. Now this is very different than the plaid badge in terms of color. It's also different compared to the Model Y Juniper Launch Edition. Carbon fiber, this is real carbon fiber spoiler for maximum performance. Of course, your charging port. Now, talking about charging port, if you are not familiar with Teslas in China, now charging ports for China is not the NACS port. Let's take a quick look. So yeah, it's a traditional two separate charger. You have your AC and DC, slow charge and fast charge. Let's put all the horsepower to the test, see if I can feel the horsepower difference. Now there is no auto gear shift because it's a Chinese Tesla, and that is something that's still not yet approved for legal reasons for safety measurements. But still, I don't think that it's that necessary considering driving in city roads and stop and go traffic and maneuvering in very low speed and probably in parking structures and spaces. That probably won't be as useful. It might misrecognize and misbehave. So we won't ding that too much because that's how it is on all Teslas in China. We'll just have to live with the screen gear selector. Now in North America Tesla, I know in Europe as well, you can have the sexy button. So you could have a stock, you could have the Commander that's easily installed on the passenger side for the Model 3 and Model Y. So in that way, you could have configurable buttons. You could bring back the old gear shifter. So now that we have a chance, let's see how this one accelerates off the line in standard mode. So yeah, it's plenty fast. Only thing is that because this Model 3 Performance doesn't have launch control, so there's no need to brake torque it by pressing two pedals at the same time. And just flowing it from standard mode, no, I wasn't getting all the power. I could feel it, that it was a slightly gradual power increase from about 0 to 30 kilometers-ish. And then the full power kicked in. Yes, all the torque was distributed right at the beginning because it's still an EV. That's something EVs do. But no, the horsepower wasn't delivered instantaneously. I think that's probably because it's tuned. Well, when you choose in standard mode, you're of course not going on track. You're not trying to accelerate as fast as you can. So you do want some kind of confidence, some luxury enjoyment of this acceleration. But that being said, when you're just cruising at, I don't know, this is like 25 miles or 30 miles per hour, when you put your foot down, oh yeah, it picks up. It glues me onto the seat. And if you have a passenger that's never had experience of a quick accelerating EV, or not even a performance model from Tesla, or anything that's do 0 to 60 in sub 5 seconds, yes, it is gonna be quite dangerous and it will probably scare the crap out of them when you just do this. Yup, that was fast. Okay, I just reached the 110 or 120 kilometers per hour speed limit, but that was really fast. And yes, that was all the power right off the bat. You could feel it right away. This insane driving mode, it's gonna pick up and it's gonna smoke almost 99% of the car on the street. Even hypercars in city speed, because electric torque, guys, horsepower. If you haven't test drove one, I strongly encourage you to try it out. If you are someone that is in need of this level of performance, this level of straight line acceleration, yes, this Tesla Model 3 Performance might be just for you. Now, it's not only amazing in straight line performance, it will also handle any corner however you throw it in. Now, with the different steering wheel weight adjustments, if you do sudden lane change, car is so sharp. If the front wheels turn instantaneously when you change the steering direction. I know I mentioned in the Xiaomi U7 video that that was the most direct Chinese EV I've ever felt. Then this is on par, if not better, than the Xiaomi U7. But this is not considered a fully Chinese EV, so yeah, my claim still stands for the Xiaomi U7 that has the most direct steering wheel and most responsive feeling I've ever felt in a Chinese EV. Of course, I forgot to mention, everything else on the interior is the same as any other Tesla Model 3 or even the Model 3 Performance. The screen, AC control, your multimedia system. The AMD chip is still, I think, one of the best, if not the best, on earth you could put in any modern smart vehicles. 2 charging pads, of course. Key cards for the Performance, still the same. Panoramic sunroof, heat isolating, but I could still feel the temperature on a very hot day like today. I don't know what it says outside. I think something like 35 or maybe 40 degrees Celsius. So 95 or 100 Fahrenheit. Yeah, it's very hot. You do have to blast the AC to keep it cool. Now it does have cool seats like any other Tesla nowadays. I think the Model 3 and the Model Y Juniper should have that as standard. It's very responsive, very quick. It's been a while since I drove something that's not just a regular EV, not like a daily commuter. And yeah, I'm quite impressed. I think this has a lot to kind of unleash when you bring it to a track and when you drive it on some winding roads. And of course, when you're actually tracking this, you want to make sure that the brakes are cooled, and you want to make sure that you're not using the regenerative braking all the time only, and then you want to blend that in so it doesn't overheat and do all kinds of stuff that EVs will do on a track. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it of this Tesla Model 3 Performance Chinese edition. To answer the question I had for myself earlier, no, I don't think I can feel the difference of that 40 horsepower decrease. Is it faster than the AMG EQE? Yes, probably, if you time the 0 to 60, but there's no launch control for this. So it's literally very easy to accelerate. You toss it in a corner and you just put your foot down and you are off. There is no need to do any sort of gimmick in the screen on the buttons. There's no need to twist a knob or change your drive modes. You could set this to be in insane mode today and every day, all the time, and you put your foot down, you are picking up. Now that was in standard acceleration. I think that is completely enough. That is more than enough horsepower in daily commutes in city roads like this. So there you have it, guys. The 2025 Tesla Model 3 Performance. Let me know what you think about this Tesla. I think that the MSRP on these is not the most affordable Tesla. No, if you need some two-row or cargo capability, or if you carry a lot of passengers, the long-range all-wheel drive Model Y might be the better choice. But if you're someone that just need a fun, sporty EV that can do this, it's still up to today one of the fastest accelerating EV on earth at this price range.